because you wonder why are these guys that make millions and millions and millions so eager to make even more millions and millions, which cannot really have any direct impact on their lifestyle,
yeah.
even if they're younger, and most of them are actually older.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it that drives them? And I think it is what drives human beings in general, and
yeah.
it's the search for recognition.
Yeah.
We want recognition, social recognition, but what is worthy of being recognized differs in different times and in different societies, and we've had this extreme focus on making wealth out of nothing, basically, as something that makes you a master of the universe, which in hindsight will look so ridiculous and such a unfortunate period. But I was thinking, take for example the academic world. Academics get paid at various rates. In Western countries, they tend to get paid fairly well if they're in the system, although there's a subsystem of non-permanent people that's greatly underpaid. In many other parts of the world, they get very little. But they're in it, and they do a lot of work, and they try to write books and articles. Why do they do that? And it's pretty clear that they do it, first of all, because they enjoy doing it, but also they want to, they publish because they want to contribute and have recognition for their work. And so, if that is the fundamental driving force, I'm not saying the only, you still want to have a decent standard of living, and perhaps some sort of recognition for extra hard work, but not, you don't need this kind of extreme remuneration. And I have a suggestion how we could deal with the people in the financial world, in the financial system, because they, you know, there will be a financial system there of some sort, even after the crisis has reformed a lot of things. But let's do what we do in the military. Let's give these guys medals. They compete for medals, and, you know, shiny medals, nice medals that show just how much they have sold.
Yeah.
And how much worth they are to the enterprise, and they can show off to their colleagues and to society. Now, I'm not sure we should ask them whether that's a good idea, but maybe this generation is lost, as so often when you have major changes.
Yeah. Well, Kuhn said you had to be prepared for the older generation to die out before a paradigm shift could happen. Because people rarely are able to get their head around a new paradigm. So it really isn't a matter of changing people's minds, it's just getting them off the stage of history through the inevitable selection of death.
And new generations.
And new generations coming in who can be, you know, inculcated with new values.
I think that's very important, and I think it is happening at the moment, too. There are quite some encouraging signs of even in the United States, or maybe especially in the United States, where it's been of young people resisting and going out and making political demands with clearly a new ethos, or a different ethos. I wouldn't say it's new. We don't really need a new ethos. We just need to leave behind the one that we've had.
I remember when I was living in Leningrad, there was a popular joke about a guy. Every day he went to the kiosk and bought a copy of Pravda, and then he'd open it up, and then he'd curse and throw it on the ground and walk away. He did this every day, and finally the kiosk owner said, every day you buy Pravda, you look at the front page, curse and throw it down. What is your issue? And the guy said, I'm only interested in the obituary. And the guy said, well, the obituaries are on the back. And the guy said, no, not the one I'm looking for. That would be maybe our elites, you know, when you think about the generational. Every day I pick up the Globe and look at the front page, looking for obituaries.
Right.
That's a sign of they're moving on.
Well, tragically, some of them have taken their own lives.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one in Germany, I forget his name, but he had a very successful generic drugs company.
Right.
And I know lots of products that he made, and I don't know how old he was, in his 60s definitely, maybe even early 70s. And he too speculated, wanted to be much, much richer, wanted to, you know, participate in the game, and lost millions and millions and millions. Couldn't really, take the well, he took the responsibility in a sad way by killing himself. He considered his mistake so gross and so unacceptable that he had to take his own life. I guess that showed some integrity in a sense. I mean, integrity maybe to his own values, which he may have violated in that greedy part. I mean, that's in all of us, that we can get carried away by the greed, and ours doesn't show as much because we don't have.
We aren't as bad.
Well, we're not as bad. That's
No.
of course true.
I mean, the Quakers believe that there's a part of God in everyone, and that when you do bad things, then that part starts to make you feel uncomfortable, and subconsciously you may even act out then to destroy yourself through self-destructive behavior like that. So I think of a guy like that who literally destroys himself, or you think of somebody who's really smart. I mean, he's really, really smart, and he's under a court order not to go into an office and remove documents, and so he goes in and takes them in front of a camera and gets convicted basically for it. I mean, it's the 1-year anniversary of his incarceration. It's Conrad Black, right? Now that to me is kind of it's akin to a suicide, like to do that, basically provide the system with the ability, with no option but to incarcerate you. Like, put him away for 6 years. And so now he's down in prison. He's just served 1. 5 to go. So I mean,
So you think he did this
subconsciously as a purging for
for
his own evil. I mean, he knew he'd done so many evil things in life, things that weren't actually illegal. So there was nothing anybody could do. So he finally had to do something evil and illegal that was so blatant they couldn't even turn. There's no way to turn your face from it. I mean, there he is on camera carrying boxes of documents out. After there's a U.S. Law or ruling saying he's not allowed to touch them. I mean, that sealed his fate.